Thank you for saying
Or
that.
did you want to take
Demographic,
the stuff
so we could-
off? Or?
I do remember the first time I ever did take an opioid. I was 19. I was having back pain and I was uncomfortable, and I took a Vicodin. It almost felt like the feeling I was searching for so long. I got the house clean, I was motivated, I was happy, using those medications to not only block out physical pain, but hey, check this out, they also block out my emotional pain too. I got married at a young age. I had my first child when I was 20. Prior to pregnancies, when I started kind of getting into the pills for the pain, for the recreational use, once I found out I was pregnant, I had stopped. Had a great pregnancy, had a great marriage during it. This is probably the answer to what I've been seeking. For the emotional pain, this is my answer. Being a mom is it. I didn't know how hard being a mother was at a young age. I got prescribed Percocet for my C-section, 5 milligrams to 10 milligrams to oxycodone. We had stress from having a child, the stress of trying to maintain the house and the expectations of everybody. I was taking about 30 milligram oxycodone a day. Prescribed on the bottle is 1 every 12 hours. But I still had a job, I still had a car, I still had a marriage, and I still had a child, so I knew I had a problem, but I thought I could stop. In 2011, I found out I was pregnant again. I was heavily addicted to oxycodone at the time. I was still getting it prescribed during my pregnancy. So I used my entire pregnancy. By the grace of God, he was not born with withdrawals. I felt like I was being given all these green lights and okays to continue being an addict because it's prescribed. I was heavily addicted after he was born, where it absolutely destroyed my bonding process. I'd be out of my medication 2 weeks early, hitting up family members who I knew had prescriptions. I had gotten cut off from the doctors, and it's just a repetitive cycle, and so eventually you just go buying them off the street. I called a friend who told me she had something that wasn't quite the same, but it would take away the withdrawal, and that was heroin. It was cheaper, and it sucked me in faster than anything I ever could have imagined. Before I knew it, I was using it IV. I had lost my kids, I had lost my job, so I did IV heroin for about 3 years. So this is all in a 5-year span, from prescriptions to homeless and shooting up heroin every day, 20 times a day. I was using meth as well. Because of that pain and that guilt and that hate of failing as a mom, it just increased my addiction more and more and more. At this time, I had overdosed behind a Subway restaurant at 4 o'clock in the morning. Barefoot, and I didn't know where I was or who I was with or why the cops were there. And I caught yet another charge. And when the cop arrested me, he looked at me and said, he was staring at death walking. He said, "I see this every day, but I can see the pain in your eyes and the physical shape you're in. And I don't know how you're still alive, and I don't think you will be for much longer." I had lost my children. I had lost everything, and I had met somebody. That relationship ended up in an unplanned pregnancy. Terminating the pregnancy was brought up many times by many different people, and I shut it down. I don't know what happened. I don't know what clicked, but I called my mom one day, and I said, "Take me to an ER. I don't care where I need to go. I need to get help. I can't do this again. I won't do this again." So she took me to a hospital, and that hospital had just started a program the week prior for pregnant women who were trying to get off heroin. I was able to get off of the heroin with the medication, methadone. I had to change my the whole environment, people, places, things, and it worked. I gave birth to my daughter and I was able to keep her. She went through a little bit of withdrawal, but she was healthy and fine.
Hey, it's my friends.
How would I explain my actions? How could you abandon your children? How could you use while you were pregnant? I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I was really sick. This is an illness. This is a serious illness. Prior to being an addict, I judged. How the hell could anybody do that to their children? How could somebody use while they're pregnant? Oh my God, just stop. Just stop. Why can't you just stop? It affects your brain chemistry. It affects your thought process. Before you know it's happening, it happens.
I have 4 months as of today sober. For Christmas, I'm not sure. I got approved to go back home, but it's always a fear. Like, I got approved for Thanksgiving and I didn't go. You know what I mean? Like,
What's your fear, if you don't mind sharing?
I just don't. I know, like, those are my stomping grounds. Like, that's where, you know what I mean? Like, everything is, you know? And I'm not strong enough to go and not use.
Working here at the Haven is absolutely incredible. And so many times when I'm talking with somebody and it's like looking in a mirror.
He's gonna be with his dad this year, and I wish I could be with him. And last year, I was going through a lot of losses with just getting out of jail, and I wanted to change it, just didn't know how. And I stopped drinking, but I still was not okay.
And I just want to shake them and tell them, it's going to get so much better. And then when I see them get better and that light goes on, and it's a really powerful feeling. And I think a lot of it is what keeps me where I'm at now. I had 3.5 years in recovery. Now working, helping other women who are in the same situation that I was in. Either lost their children or are currently pregnant and going through an addiction. This job and watching these miracles happen every single day is such an exponential part of my sobriety. It's huge. Giving hope to somebody, showing somebody that they can do it, being that role model. The biggest compliment that I'll ever receive in my entire life is when somebody says you're an inspiration. It's almost too much to take in. I don't feel like that. I have my mugshot hanging in my office on the wall to show, hey, look, it will get so much better, and it does. Now I'm currently expecting. 7 months pregnant with my 4th. You don't take anything for granted anymore because you know what it's like to lose it all. You know what it's like to be in misery. You know what it's like to have nobody. So when you gain all that back and you've worked so hard for it, you have such a bigger appreciation for it, and you learn to take nothing, even the smallest of things, for granted.